I want to give all praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles and the bishops at Great Millstone who labor night and day. Peace and salutations to all the prophets, all the teachers that's getting this message out in sincerity, making videos, going on the highways and hedges. Peace and salutations to all the men that's in GMS, Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all the Aqua that are listening to silence. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 hopeful elect, and the remnant that might look like these other nations, but they are in fact of the 144,000 hopeful elect. May this lesson be edifying to all the Akim and to all the Aqua. Shalom. I was just about to do a video on something else, but last month it was a lot of earthquakes, and something just told me, just check. So no more less than a minute, boom, I seen this pop up, and this right here is talking about these earthquakes in Las Vegas. And you know the saying with Las Vegas, whatever happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. A lot of immorality, a lot of sex, a lot of gambling, a lot of killing, a lot of stealing. So we're going to get right into it so people can see it for themselves. People think that we got a lot of time ahead. If you're thinking that, you done bumped your head. Let's get right into it. These videos are for educational purposes only. Not making no gain, not making no money from this. My page is not even monetized, all right? This is strictly for learning and teaching.
Broke out on Wednesday afternoon, according to officials. The Terminal 1 parking garage was closed and evacuated as a result. The Clark County Fire Department said it responded to reports of a fire just before 3:30 p.m. The department said 2 people were treated for smoke inhalation, and the cause of the fire is being investigated. An airport spokesperson said all entrances to the garage were back open just after 5 p.m.
Unexpected earthquake and associated booming sounds were felt and heard by many who lived in Las Vegas. Registering in as a magnitude 3.8, this earthquake, which occurred at 1:47 p.m. local time on Thursday, had an epicenter directly within Red Rock Canyon, 16.6 miles west-northwest of the local international airport, causing no damage. And with the numerous scenic and exposed rock units, you can actually physically see the fault line which produced this earthquake. What I am referring to is the local fault line of the normal fault type known as the Turtlehead Mountain Fault, which, under the greatest mapped extent I could find, is just under 10 miles long. In other words, due to extensional regional stresses, a portion of the right side of this fault line moved upwards in relation to its left side, while at the same time the right side moved southwards in comparison to the left side. The earthquake was oblique in nature, with both vertical and horizontal components occurring on it, although it was largely normal fault-related. Across much of Nevada, the crust is slowly spreading apart to the east and west in what is known as the Basin and Range Province. This has created numerous repeating series of mountain ranges and valleys. Many fault...
This is on Wednesday. These earthquakes been coming.
This is Big Island Video News for Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Today, high surf forces the closure of Kona beach parks. Roads reopen after heavy rain, another earthquake rattles the island, Kilauea inflation resumes, and the first tropical storm of the season forms in the eastern Pacific.
And we also got volcanoes erupting in the Philippines. We got that going on. See, the thing is, people think that we have all these times. And see, this is how we measure out the days of knowing that we are in the final hours. See, a lot of people say, well, how can you know when the end is about to come? Well, that's because we read the scriptures, and that's because we pay attention. See, 4 months ago, dozens of earthquakes. And this is happening in Dubai. I remember I did one on Afghanistan and how that happened. See, these things are getting more stronger and more stronger. And it's happening all over the globe. Look at this one, 19 hours ago. We're going to bring out some scriptures because we always want to have people that think the Bible is just some nonsense thing and it's not true. It has no weight to it because you're always going to have doubters out there. So let's go straight to the scriptures and bring it out. Now, y'all have read this and seen this before. But this is how we measure out the times. We're looking at the things that's going on right now. This is Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall arise against nation, and kingdoms against kingdoms. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So, this verse right here has a lot of weight. So let's go right into it and show first about the nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. So as we have right here, the quiet plan to merge USA, Israel. All right. The militaries. And as you see right here. All right. Because as you know, as of to date, there's still a war going on. This is 2 days ago. And we don't have to show all the videos and the stuff like that. But we are at war. And that's why they talked about having a draft in December. That it's a possibility of it. Which is not just a possibility. It's going to happen. It's true. Israel military to merge with the United States military, USA, 4 days ago. All right? So this stuff is happening. Let's go into the ceasefire.
Hundreds of bunks where sailors slept were completely destroyed. What remained of the beds was charred, twisted metal. The ceiling appeared hollowed out, heaps of ashes all around. It took about 30 hours for the entire crew of nearly 4,500 to put out that fire. Quote, I seriously thought we were going to lose the ship, the same sailor told CNN. At the time, the Navy said the fire had been contained and that 2 sailors had non-life-threatening injuries. But sources tell CNN that the fire control system failed. About 600 sailors lost their bunks as a result of it, and the fire impacted the ship's operations, forcing the $13 billion carrier to divert to Greece for repairs. Now, the fire wasn't the only problem on the ship's record 11-month deployment. The ship's toilets were repeatedly clogged. Video from on board obtained by CNN shows human waste filled to the brim of several toilets. The same sailor told us if you were in the forward section of the ship, you'd often have to walk all the way to the aft or the rear section just to find a toilet that worked. Asked about the extent of the fire and the fire...
Now, this is what I want. You see? World War III declared. American bases, allies under attack. Aerosphere, missiles explode over Gulf. This is 7 hours ago. This is Times of India. See, you really don't hear all this stuff going on.
Strikes against Iranian coastal surveillance radar sites, including positions on Keshem Island. Hello.
See, this is it right here. This is your kingdoms against kingdoms. United States is a kingdom. All right. Iran is the kingdom. And they're at war with each other. That's what's going on. And people think this is not lining up with scriptures. Look. The Russia-Ukraine war. 11 hours ago. Multiple kingdoms are going against each other. This is to show you that this stuff is measuring out the times. So there you have nations and kingdoms against one another. All right. Now, we're going to go into the famines and pestilence. So you can see it all right here. All right. This ain't no clickbait stuff that's going on. Everybody is doing their news on the stuff that's going on around. All right. Food crisis has arrived. Global food crisis. And if you've been keeping up about the fertilizer and stuff like that, then you know that these farmers are actually, going through it.
Hello, I'm not planting. The fertilizer price wave hasn't even hit yet. When farmers stop, every grocery store in America empties, and the damage won't stop until every household feels it. I want to go through a real story that's not really being talked about on mainstream media, and how you can actually prepare for it right now. You see, planting never happened. Not the way it was supposed to this year. American farmers are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Input costs that doubled and crop prices that didn't even move. There's no profit for a lot of farmers right now. You see, if you plant, you lose money. If you don't plant, you lose land if you don't own it.
See? America's global famine. 6 months ago, millions could run out of food by 2026. This stuff is very real. And then imagine when you have these major earthquakes and they're destroying places, people lose food. World hunger crisis. 5 months ago, food shortages. This is just a month ago. That's your famine so far as food. Let's go into pestilence. These are the new pestilence that's happening. All right. We got 4 months ago. We got 3 weeks ago. All right. About the coronavirus. We have these diseases and outbreaks that are happening. This is your pestilence. And you want to go on a cruise ship? You really bumped your head. All this is pestilence. And all of this is being orchestrated. We're not fear-mongering. This stuff is happening. You're not going to get away from what's going on, what's coming down the pipeline. Yes, we have had this stuff in the past, but it's getting worse and worse. Worse and worse. Look, the latest on the Ebola outbreak. This is 14 hours ago. All this stuff is here. This stuff is taking place real time.
Igor is the coach, so he bought a...
The CDC released new reports showing the Ebola crisis in the Congo and Uganda could be worse than the outbreak in 2014. ABC's Michelle Franzen breaks down what it means and how this could affect us here in the States.
As the number of Ebola cases continues to rise, the CDC has released 3 reports discussing the outbreak in Central Africa and what it means for those in the U.S. The documents say first, since the World Health Organization declared an emergency of international concern May 17th. The CDC warns that without strong interventions from public health officials, the outbreak in remote areas of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Uganda could surpass the 2014 to 2016 West Africa crisis. The agency says it's working aggressively with federal and international partners to support response efforts. The CDC states Americans who are not traveling to affected countries do not need to change any behavior, adding federal agencies are conducting public health screenings at 4 airports to prevent Ebola from entering the U.S.
There are currently no approved vaccines or treatments for Bundibugyo which means our public health preparedness infrastructure, such as screening, surveillance, and infection control, is doing significant work.
Africa's CDC and the WHO are launching a 6-month, $518 million preparedness and response plan to help countries detect, prepare, and respond to a...
See, what people don't understand is that Matthew 24:7 is full in effect, man. It's full in effect. Full in effect. It's full in effect. This is happening in real time, man. Let's go back to the scriptures. Now, the first thing I brought out to y'all was the earthquake in diverse places. And we got volcanoes too. We got all these things happening. And y'all think that these scriptures right here in front of you is not taking place. I'm not going to draw this lesson out. Let's keep it straight to the point. This is Romans chapter 13:11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time. You hear a lot of people say, man, this is high time. All right. You hear a lot of people say that. To wake out of sleep. For now is your salvation nearer than when we believe. Now, this is for the hopeful elect, the beloved hopeful elect. That by us seeing this, we know that this is the time because we're seeing the prophecies take place. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it down with that, brothers. Hope that this lesson was edifying to all the Aqua, to all the Akim. Shalom.